Hey, dirty blooming seagulls!
Uh-oh. Better not a lost signal. Just use the blade. That'll be easier.
Forward for a second and that happens. Well, I nearly got stuck there. Right, that's all the dung out. I've got the plough. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to do this head rig. Well, start. Because I start down there and it goes away up and it turns. So it's whether I just go for it and then try and straighten it as I'm going along, as I'm going across the hill or not. Because it's just one of the ones, it's just so much to try and sort. You know, if you ploughed some ends to make it all work, but then that's too much of a corner. I'll maybe just start up there and then plough into this, and then that's the head rig. One of the head rigs, that's what I'm doing. Right. It's too sore in the plough going round too much of a corner. So, right, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll just fling this in here. Then I'll still need to sort the curve because there is just the way it goes up there. Right, let's see how this goes. I'll fling that. Speed up there, that's it. Right. Let's get some revs up and get ploughing. I'll just make that. I'll just plough down to there and then make this basically a head rig. So you can see the front fur here's filling in last year's hole that I'm driving up now. Get diff lock on until I clear the greasy bit that's on the surface. After you've done the first run, it's pretty good because you get grip in the shuck from the last run, because it's usually dry after you fling it over. Fair's getting on quite good with the drains. He's just to come back and fill all this in. So I'll need to shift the wee digger out of the way because I want to try and get going, but you can see what I mean here. I'm coming up round here and having to take a, you know, it's all this. You want nice straight ploughing, but you're not going to get it right from the off until you get a wee bit further across the field. The ground up here is a bit redder because iron ore through it. Dad says that's another problem with the drains up here that gets choked with it. Between that and the soil type and that, you know, it's no very nice, just this section. This would have been the old road, it would have came right up through and into the next part, because this was all one big estate at one point. Quite a few farms. see some red stuff through it there. Now this bit gets right wet. There we go. Plenty wheel slip. There we go. Right. First run done of this big field. Now get out this wet hole. Well, that's greasy. I don't know why that didn't want to turn over there, but we're away now. Right. And somebody saying that what I was calling loamy soil looked like clay. Most definitely it is not. There is certain bits that are clay, but I know exactly what loamy stuff is. Just because there's a wee bit of red through it. And that shine on it is just because it's wet. Once it dries out, it's nice and powdery. Show you the now. All nice and crumbly. That's not clay. Front fur's quite wide. I'll need to adjust it. The ram, I should have moved it first run, but after the first run I just had it so it would go perfectly into the first hole. So I'll just narrow it a wee bit, and then it'll pull better and leave a leveler ploughing. So you got to do it when you're driving, you didn't want to. Do it too quick, you'll make it very, very obvious. Right, that looks better, isn't it? Right, let's get going, speed it up a wee bit, so fucking about. Oh, for God's sake, I just noticed a big stone there. Must have been just as I lifted it up the top. See it? The last, the third mole board. Not sure if just putting the plough down on top of that will knock it out or not, but we'll soon find out, I suppose. And some more red stuff. She's just wet. I like the shine on it though. Right, this is what I'm going to do, just to take this corner out and then I'll plough it like a heat rig. Right, let's see if I can get the stone knocked out by just putting it down. Yeah, that, our big hammer time again. Was lucky, so it must have just got caught as I lifted it. That was handy. Bro, the diff on here. This wee gully's quite wet, like, you know. Well, it's a lot drier than it ever used to be. The drains got sorted in it and that helped a lot. But it's definitely still a wee bit greasy. Nice. Ah, that's why you need to look back. See that? Quick. Sort it on the way down again. Blooming stones. There we go, Dad's filling in that hole. Might take a wee while. He seemed to think 20 minutes, but I think it'll be less than that. That big digger over there. You know, some of the wet bits just need the soil turned over on its back and it dries up for the year. It's just a wee bit of a pan on the top, you know, so the subsoil would make a difference, but you can only put the subsoiler through the ground when the ground is actually dry, which is defeating the purpose, you know, but it's just the way it is. So if I did get the chance, I would be up here with a para-plough trying to lift it for the next year. So in the back end I might try and come up and go through it all, but if it's too wet, it's too wet. But it might make a difference to the likes of the now, just to get the water down to the drains. So I'll put the camera back on tomorrow when the sun's shining, because it's starting to get dark now. And you'll see how awkward this field is the further across I get. First run after my dinner and there's a blooming stone. I just thought it would be a perfect opportunity to show you how good my light bars are. I've got a wee one on the back and a right big one on the front. The wee one's quite good at lighting up the plough so I can see everything, and the front one's quite good at lighting the place up because it's really bright. Thought it took a couple of swings, but that's handy, I don't mind that, that's easy. Can't be bothered putting it out the front, I'll just put up with it at my feet. It's just handy it not being in the way, but I just want to get on. Right. Right, see you tomorrow morning. Good morning, me tractor. Better get a wee look over for a start. Plenty of water in the bowl. Plenty of engine oil. And back end oil is in the extra zone, which is where we want it. Right, so I better grease the plough because it's got a big day ahead of it up on that hill. Plenty to do. I need to clean out the discs. Got to keep these greased. They're quite bad for the bearings going in them, so I actually had to change one because it was done it in one of the videos. It was wobbling, and I ended up having to change the bearing. Took a wee while, but got there. Got to keep these well greased. Got to. Leaf springs are always needing done. They're always moving. Front furrow had to be awkward, and the grease nipple had to be facing the wrong way. Get grease the headstock. There's 2 nipples in here. Right, grease the bottom wheel. Look after it. Land wheel. Another side of this ramp. Then, of course, tractors up and down. It's been used the most. We'll do the other side in a minute. So, just going to check this just to make sure. They're all looking good. Check they're all tight. Okay, so that's the morning plough and tractor maintenance done. Gave it all a good wee look over, we're all good to go. Earlier on I turned all the skimmer points. I moved the skimmer tops from one side of the plough to the other, and that gives it another go with a nice sharp edge, a new cutting edge. So it'll be quite interesting to see how straight I've managed to keep my ploughing, or how well I've managed to get the plough straight after starting with the edge of the field being so squint and S bendy. So as it was dark, it was quite hard to tell, but I thought it was looking alright, but we'll soon find out, I guess. So driving up this arse of a road now, and we can see the start of my ploughing there. Dad's left me at the farm to go up to the drain, so hopefully he'll be finished the drain by the time I get to him. So I was throwing bales out and bedding up and getting haylage out, but at least that's all the morning job's done. So now I can get going and just keep going, hopefully. But for here, the ploughing looks straight, but that's just from here. Things can change quite quickly. So just coming into the field now. Ploughing looks not too bad, looks reasonably level. Nighttime ploughing's always harder. The rows look nice though. So the moment of truth here, it'll change as soon as I get over the back. Ah, look at that, that's almost like an arrow, that. I say almost. I could probably straighten that out in the first run. Right, let's see how we get on with this. Probably just a case of holding the steering wheel straight for that. I don't think I'll need to touch anything. Right. Get the diff lock on because we're going up the hill. This bit's no as steep. So right over there it gets really bad. Right, keep this straight, that's what we want. Turning over really nicely. Can see a few spits of rain on my window, so I know it's just to be wee drops of spit this morning, and then tomorrow it's to rain, so hopefully I'll get on really well today up here and get the majority of it, if not all of it, done. And then maybe tomorrow I can start ploughing that. You can plough grass easier than ploughing in the stubbles when it's slightly wet, because you can get grip on top of the grass, whereas this, if it's wet on the top, it just rips. So let's see what this looks like up here. It's hard to tell. As soon as you go up over the brae, there's obviously a wee slight corner here. So I'll maybe just widen the plough and try and take that out. Move it a wee bit wider there. And then I'll narrow it when I get to there, and hopefully that'll straighten that out. There's Dad at the drains. Right, start narrowing the plough a wee bit. Don't move it too fast. Right, let's see what that looks like. It's just a tiny curve now, rather than what it was before. But the drain he was doing earlier is in there, so that's the first time that's been ploughed for about 3 or 4 years, because there was always an open drain. So I'm quite happy to actually have been able to plough straight rather than ploughing around drain holes for once. Remember, there were 7 open holes up here at one point, and hopefully it gets on quite good in there, because that just looks like a fucking bomb. Sorry, looks like a bomb hole. This bit's the wet bit. Just because it's next to that bog, doesn't drain very well. That straight through her. A lot of comments saying that this tractor could handle a bigger plough. I'm well aware of that. And we've had this plough for years and there's nothing wrong with it. And it's not like we're ploughing hundreds of acres. We're only ploughing, I think there's 110 acres of spring barley and 30 acres of winter barley. You know, it would be good to get going quicker, but it's not really required, and ploughs are really expensive. Unless I could find a +1 for this and add it on, I don't see any point. And then that would mean I could take it off if it is a really wet year, because there's no way I can plough straight up and down over there with a 5 furrow and keep it level, because you have to lift the front of the plough out the ground a wee bit to keep grip, and then you leave a big hole just where the front furrow is because you're making it really shallow. There's no point in that. You want level ploughing and you need grip. So it's easy enough with a 4 furrow. I've always wanted the 5 furrow, but it's just not doable. And like, I don't know what it would be like in the likes of this bit. Look, I'm digging, spinning and still pulling with a 4 furrow. I don't know if the 5 furrow would go through the likes of that. It's just the kind of ground we've got. Just the kind of ground we've got. It's but if it was an ideal world and this was all dry, yeah, no bother. It's all down to grip and trying to make a good job. Dad's got his spade and walking about like as if it's a blooming walking stick. You know that, old son? Just checking the old digger over before he gets it going, checking the engine oil and that. He's quite good at maintenance, Dad. Like, I'm not as good as him. I'm quite kinda let's get going, but I'm trying to get better because you've got to look after your kit. Fuck off. Leave my worms alone. I'm sending the police on you. Get! No fear anymore. Oi! Must be quite a few worms that are this keen. They're no fear this time. Need to get the 12 bore out. Oh, they're away. No, they're just circling. Okay, Plouging gets all the birds. This will be my last run into this section. Starting to get right skitey, which will be no use at all if I get stuck. The old man will not be happy. Get a diff on, get through this bit. Slippy. Pull you bugger you. Moon. Moon. There we go. Lift the plough a wee bit just to get going, then put it down again just to try and keep it level. Right, that bit's a wet bit, as you can see, and the back fur's kicking up there. Wonder what that's hit. It's away. It's just a wee stone, that's fine. Most stones you can get out by just reversing just ever so slightly. I don't like reversing too much, you'll end up damaging the plough. There's a big stone there, you see that? Pung the last one up. Aye, don't like reversing too much, but if it's proper jammed you do need to get out and use the big hammer. Now, I know it's not that big a hammer, but it's big enough for this job. I broke the last one doing another job at the farm. The shaft snapped. Not ideal. So first 4 runs and it's basically bang on straight now, so not so bad. It's just a case of holding the steering wheel straight and getting it going. So that's this section. I'll work on the back section, but no one's going to notice a corner at the top of the bray. Well, actually maybe as well. I'll be putting the drone up later and then that'll really show off if there's a bend up here. I think I've done well enough for starting with it being like that over there, so no so bad. Might as well do this headland here while I'm here, so I don't need to, as usual, come back to it. Just with the way the hill goes, it's worth just doing the heat rigs as you're going along. Fairly slows the job down, but it's just the way it is. I can't get right into the dike. Well, a few years ago it was ridiculously wet, so I couldn't get in there. So I've been trying to work my way back. Well, as you can see, I'm struggling to now. But I'm filling in the last year's hole from the heat rig up here. It's a bit of a struggle. Oh, that looks horrible. That back fur's choked. I noticed it was choked, but I don't think I'm going to get it out very easy. Might as well keep pulling. Now that's the first run done, bugger it. There's no way I'm getting through this bit. Oh, it's wet. All I can do about it is just the way it is, as I keep saying. Oh, come on. Oh, this is going to be horrible, this heat rig. Basically lift the plough out the ground there just to get forward. Right, gaining some traction now. I know it looks horrible, but at least it's turned. It looks worse because of, Well, I'm digging that much and it's just making the soil that uneven. Hopefully this next run will be better. Come on, get out. Right, that's the end of this run. Turn! At least it looks churned. There we go, got a bit of forward speed this time, it's in the drier bit now. Start to make it look a bit prettier. This is probably the worst bit, but the worst heat rig to do. Diff lock to get back a bit. Diff lock off to turn slowly but surely. I don't like using the split brakes. Folk go on about, oh, you can't plough without split brakes and all this. But as soon as you start doing that, you end up wearing the brakes down unevenly. And it's not an easy job to change the brakes. It's not like a car. I've done it a few times over the years. Better worn down evenly, then you know where you are. Right, so one more run, so I'll get out and I'll shallow the land wheel so it's not as big a hole to drive through with a seeder. Then that means Dad will be happier. He doesn't like getting launched about. But nobody does. But he really wasn't happy when I started putting the land wheel in this kind of way. So got to make it really got to make it really shallow just to keep him happy. But at least that's this done. Hey, I'll show you what I do. Could actually do a wider land wheel because it would help with the wetter bits, because it would mean that the back furrow didn't sink in deeper when it hit a wet bit. That was quite loose, but it's no moved anyway, so. Right. 1, 2, 3. I should really have ran them right out and gied them oil. It's not been done for a few years. I thought it was slacker than this. Maybe it's the other side that's better. Always count how many turns you get, then you know where to put it back. 4. 12. Right, 13. So that should be really shallow now, hopefully. I think I usually turn it about 11, but I'm just getting it a little bit extra. Okay, let's see how this goes. Last run, hopefully that'll be nice and shallow. There you go. Keep the front deep and that'll line up with this here. Right, that's that done. Right, I'll sort it out before I start driving down there again. As you can see, it's a lot shallower than the 8 inches that I was doing, 8.5 inches I was doing before. So that means when he's coming through, it's not going to be as big a bang, and I'll keep him happy. It's all about keeping them happy. So I'll just get out of there. That bit looks right wet. I don't think I'll go near there. Right, I'll sort this out before I forget. Ah, stone again. He's filled in this hole now. He's working on that one over there, but I think he's away for lunch, so I'll need to go grab a bite shortly too. But that means I can get through that now that he's filled that in, but it looks a bit wetter than further over. Need to shift this draining rod. Get it out my way. And a couple of P-weeps. This bit looks like it might be a bit hard to drive through. Oh well. Let's see what he was doing over here. He'll been re-clearing it, then having a look. And he's down to the clay. Alright, so this tile isn't running, so that's why all there's over wet, and this will rod down to where he was over there. So this end should be clear, I would have thought. I think he'll be want to check that in case it's collapsed, which will be why he's digging here as well. Aye, it's a good big digger, that 7.5 tonner. It's quite funny, when we first got it we were trying to start it and it just kept turning over and turning over and turning over, and if you didn't keep it held down, the battery would go flat if you stopped and tried again. But if you kept it going, it would work eventually. Eventually being the word. Yeah, the sun coming out now. So I've been allowed to fill in this bit. He's dug all this back and he says the drain's alright. So this goes. I never get a shot of these diggers. The soil's not that brilliant up in this section, just it's, I don't know why. Dad says it's because we're so close to the moor, and it'll be because this bit's in a dip, whereas over there it's nice and brown. So, not really sure why, so I'm going to try and do this first like that, then I'll actually I'll just use the blade, that'll be easier. Let's see where I'm going. Some toy. Better watch me plough. That's the way to do it. This bit works the blade. He thought this drain would have connected up to there, but it doesn't. It's like as if that's a separate drain. So this bit's dry, and he thought that that would have helped over there, but it's obviously something else wrong just there. So he says he'll get back to it next year. But till then he's going to sort this whole bit over there. And we'll see what like later on this year. Hopefully it's not too long. I want to keep the plough going. Back to the plough for another 10 minutes. We said just to get going, so I don't think I'm going to get much further. Then I have to give him a hand. Right, let's see how this wet bit does get that diff lock on. Splash. Come on. The good thing about getting the plough through wet bits like that is that the soil gets turned up on its back and it's allowed to dry out rather than sitting with a pan and remaining wet. So at least, well, that's the first time I've been able to drive through there for a few years, so hopefully whatever draining that's been done is going to help the next year. I'm getting across the hill now. Steepest is yet to come over there. A wee drop drizzle on the windows. The rain's threatening, even though it wasn't meant to be coming today. But the weather's always wrong, so hopefully Hopefully they sort themselves out. It'd be better saying it was raining and not getting our hopes up. Had a good spell though, but we've really needed this dry spell to dry the soil out because of how wet it's been. It's been absolutely saturated. It was needing all its time. I do believe that's looking not too bad. Straight enough ish. Good. So I'd got a lot more done today, but ended up having to do drains for quite a bit longer than I thought, but oh well, just one of the things that needed done. But this will be the first time this hill hasn't had any holes in it for about 5 years. Maybe more than that. I can only ever remember having holes and having to plough around them up here. So Fair's getting ready to plough across the top of all of my ploughing over to there. Into the next field for a couple that may, well, there's one just there that might be a problem next to the weed digger. I'll just wait to see what the crack is there, but hopefully that'll be done by the time I get out of this field. Oh, she's wet, just ripping the soil up. Umber through it. Ugh. See it building up there at the third fur. It'll probably just crumble out. Still leaving a nice level furrow there, right enough. I'll just come out. Maybe. There we go, it's cleared. I hope it shows how steep this is. It helps that I'm ploughing at a very slight angle across the hill. But hopefully when I get over there I can really show you how steep it is. Might even be able to see the now, not sure. But aye. Just wind it a wee tad. I was hoping to get the drone up, but it's really windy today, so I don't think I will. I'll maybe try tomorrow, but it's to be rainy tomorrow, so I don't know what the crack will be. Maybe if it calms down in an hour, I'll fire it up and hopefully it'll still be light enough to show off this hill and its true awkwardness. Hopefully you can see from down here how steep it is. Maybe always looks different on camera. Tap the brakes, that disengages the diff lock that I had on. That I didn't need going down the hill, but through that wet patch I definitely needed it. Hopefully it still looks like I'm doing a good job to you, because I think it's doing a good job. Well, I nearly got stuck there, but reversed back a bit, up a gear and I'm away again. Whoa! I was very near close to phoning the fader. But should be alright. The drain's been sorted, so that'll be fine later on. But aye, that was a bit sticky. Forward for a second and that happens. For goodness sake. Don't even know if the stone came out. It did. Hey, dirty blooming seagulls, man! How dare you! Oh. Well, it was to be expected by these buggers. Hey, so I just had another phone call to go and help Dad with drains, so here we go again, back to the Plough. The drain was up the top there, where he was when he went through to the other side. The pipe's full of gravel, so Christ knows. Getting fed up with these damn drains. Anyway, it's really windy, but I think I'll try my drone because I've actually read up that it's supposed to be able to work in the wind. Maybe not major wind, but I guess we'll soon find out. It's just a kind of case of bugger it. I'll just give it a shot, and if it doesn't work, then I'll just take it out of the sky again. So then that means I can all show you how steep the ground actually is. Looking at it from here, you can tell it's really high, but just doesn't really show the full effect of the steepness. So I'll quickly get this thing going. Right, let's try this. I've got it on the mud guard. Let's hope it doesn't come winging it back at me. That's not too bad actually. Right. Right, let's see what we get from this then. That is fighting it, so that's good. Over there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Straightness wise. You know, over there was wasn't square at all. Maybe I shouldn't put this any higher. It is really windy outside, but it's coping well enough. And there's the steep gully I was on about the other day that my grandpa ploughed with his Massey. I'll maybe lower my altitude just so that it's no getting caught by the wind too much. I'm trying to fly straight forward here and it's drifting. Aye, here's the gully. As you can see, it just kind of goes straight down. The steepest part is over here. I'm yet to plough it, but I'm going to try and get today's video sorted today. Uh-oh. Better not have lost signal. I have. Oh no. Tap to cancel. Right, it's reconnected. That's a good thing about this thing. As soon as you lose connection, it'll try and fly back to where it took off. I'll need to drive up to the top of the hill here to connect, and then I'll show you what the crack is just quickly, and then I'll put the drone away. It's obviously too windy for it. So but this perfectly shows how steep the ground actually is. This is a stupid wee dog leg that I was on about. I want this to be all one field, but I don't think that's going to happen. But steepest part is, well, I'm looking at it. And that's the steep bit that my grandpa ploughed through here with his Massey. I'm speaking to Dad about it. He thinks it was a 1 but going across this with a Massey Ferguson is ridiculous. So I'm probably looking at the steepest part of what I have to plough. But yeah, entertaining. Keeps you on your toes. Where am I? There I am. Right. I'll put this blooming thing away before I lose it. It's just gonna blow away the day. Right. I'll go grab it. There you go. So there you go, people. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I've tried my very best to get on, but yet again, one thing after another. Quite lucky not to lose my drone today. That was a wee bit scary, but it's prepped in the way that it will fly back to where it took off from, so that's quite handy. Or it will fly till it reconnects with the controller, which was fantastic. It's just too windy. But aye, no, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Some exciting news coming soon. Hoping to release some merch soon, so if it's done pretty soon, I'll put the link in the descriptions. So let's see what you all think. So aye, join me next time, and good night. Also, I'd just like to say, I hope you all realise why I don't have a 6 or a 5 for a plough. I could maybe handle a 5 for a plough, but 6 for a ploughs aren't really meant for hills. Unless I've got a Caterpillar that has plenty of grip. The main bother is getting grip to the ground to get up and down these hills. Also, because we don't have that many acres to plough, we can't really justify having a bigger plough. We've had this one for years and it still does the job, so there's no need for us to change. There's no need to spend the ridiculous amount of money that it is to buy ploughs and machinery. Not saying that I wouldn't take a demo, but just to try it. But it's money's money.